Hi there, Bob Maher here with Randy Buehler. We're here to talk a little bit about old school Magic, go over Randy's chosen deck for the event this Friday. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to play what would appear to be the deck?
It is essentially the deck. The deck is, Brian Weitzman was the guy who initially made this super famous and essentially invented the idea of card advantage. So I mean, Jayemdae Tome and Disrupting Scepter are the superstars in this deck. I wanted to play a deck. I could play 2 books, I could play 2 sticks, I could just make my opponents discard, draw cards. I'm just, so many cards. Yeah. I've had multiple games where I'm like drawing off the library, drawing off the Jayemdae Tome. It's just, it's fun to draw cards. I like drawing cards. So yeah, that's essentially the deck. Now, the deck, the Weitzman version was usually a moat-based deck. It would use moat to lock the ground and a couple Serra Angels to win with after you sort of scepter all the removal spells out of their hands. I went with an Abyss variant. It felt like a lot of people would be playing flying creatures. Like there would be some Serras and other people's control decks. There would be a lot of Serendibs in particular. It's definitely a format where there's going to be lots of Serendibs. So I felt like the Abyss would be better than the Moat. And then it also means I get to use Mishra's Factory as my victory condition. So I am completely creatureless. The only thing that I can deal damage with is, in fact, Mishra's Factory. It's a little scary to have only 4 Mishra's Factories as my victory conditions, especially in a format where Strip Mine is unrestricted, but I have a Regrowth, I have a Recall, and like I'm definitely prepared to just recall for Mishra's Factories and make sure I actually have the ability to win the game.
Yeah, and your deck is certainly on a clock. Like it's not like you have one Time Twister and one Regrowth where you can just keep starting over and over. You've decided that there is a finite limit of time for you to kill with 4 Mishra's Factories.
Yeah, it's possible I should have the Time Twister. I mean, I haven't needed it. In practice, the way it's worked out is that like once I get an Abyss and a Scepter, like they're dead. Like it's gonna take a while to actually kill them, but they can't hold up creatures to overwhelm the Abyss because I'm sceptering them and I've got a handful of cards. You know, it's only kind of 5 good counter spells, but like you don't have to counter that many things because you're all plows and disenchants. Like
it's usually enough, absolutely.
So I have not, in fact, had any trouble winning the game. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to have a Time Twister in here somewhere. It would certainly give the deck a little more recursion, but then again, like most of the time, it's just not what this deck wants to do. I've got the grip full of cards, and they've got nothing. That's where most of my games, well, that's where the games wind up when I'm winning, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what you're shooting for. I know back when Tournament Magic was just these decks, when it wasn't old school Magic, it was just Magic. Everyone played with a lot more security blankets. Like you made sure you could go through your deck a number of times, or people would play a Felden's Cane for no good reason. They just decided it was good to shuffle the graveyard back in.
Right.
Deck construction is much better now than it was back in the day, so it makes perfect sense not to be playing the Twister.
I can also deck them with Brain Geyser.
Fair.
That is a thing. Like you get enough mana in this deck, that is a thing that can actually come up. So.
Oh, certainly. I mean, so how many mana sources are in your deck?
Yes. I like playing with lands. It's always been something, the 29 land grip full of counterspells deck. I've had some experience with that, had some fun with that through the years. There's 29 mana cards in this deck. So I've got all the Moxen, all the jewelry, solo Moxen. I've got the 3 strips and the 4 Mishras and the library, so 8 colorless lands. I actually, at 29, I think maybe I was supposed to run 30.
Yeah.
Like I threw this island in the sideboard. I've brought it in every game. I just want more colored mana sources because everybody has strip mines, of course, and this just can be hard to build up colored mana. It could be dual lands. I feel like there are definitely people running Blood Moons. There are definitely people who are going to attack your mana, so I wanted to make sure that I could Blue Blast a Blood Moon, I could Disenchant a Blood Moon, which is why I've got some basics. But yeah, I'm a little light on blue sources in particular. Yeah, maybe I should just have another Tundra in the deck. The thing is, you can get away with having 30 mana sources in your deck because, well, that counts your creatures. It also counts these strip mines, which are often just disrupting the other guy. And colorless mana is awesome when you're playing books and sticks. Like, you'd be surprised how much mana you can spend on every single turn of the game with this deck. It's just all the Moxen that are essentially colorless mana, for free, drawing cards and knocking the cards out of their hand. It's essentially big mana and just like this is the engine. Everything else is just kind of make the game go longer so that you can win with this engine.
So how has it gone so far? What have you been good against, not so good against?
I'm 4-1 as we record this, so there's one round left before the top 8. Intentional draws have been banned, so I can't ID into top 8, and I lost the first round, so I probably have to win this round. I played against a really cool cross-section of decks, though. My loss was to a Stasis deck. And
nice. I love hearing that.
I know.
I'm glad I wasn't the one playing against it, but I love hearing it.
I want to play it again. I mean, maybe that's just, I don't know if that's me being masochistic, but like I understand the matchup so much better having now played it once in the last 15 years instead of 0 times in the last 15 years. Like, I was like, oh, this matters. Okay, that's how I should have played it. I feel like I should have at least forced game 3. I'm not convinced I played optimally, but he played it great. So yeah, I got locked out by Turbo Stasis. He had a Kismet. The second game was just beautiful on his part. He gets a Kismet, and then he plays the Time Vault. So after he drops the stasis, he's just like, skip a turn. Go ahead, take another turn. I don't have to upkeep my stasis this way, right? But that means that when the stasis, he loses the ability to upkeep the stasis, he just lets the stasis go, takes his Time Walk turn. Now he's the first one to untap all of his lands, so he can replay another stasis or do whatever. Yeah, the Time Vault was devastating. I think that, like, I had an early disenchant that I could have used on the Time Vault that was just sitting there doing nothing because he has no way to untap it. And then, like, 15 turns later, it winds up just destroying me in the stasis lock, so.
Yeah, 15 turns later, it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Like, oh no.
Yeah, but it was like, I haven't been in this scenario. I mean, versus a Time Vault stasis deck, I'm not sure I've ever played against that, so.
Sure.
So I played Stasis. I played against Black, Green, Red Land Destruction. You know, it's clearly not a Jund deck. I guess it's like an Arcady Sabbath deck. Am I remembering my Elder Dragons correctly? Which one is the
Victus Asmati?
I think it might be the Victus. But anyway, that's that. I don't know. Black, Green, Red Land Destruction. He's just, you know, Juzems and Urnums and, you know, Ice Storm, Stone Rain, Sinkhole. So I destroyed all his lands with my Strip Mines and my Chaos Orb. That was great.
Like you turned into the land destruction deck.
He totally deserved it. And, you know, and I'm killing his creatures, his birds with my Abyss. Like, I balanced away a bird and some land like his card. It was awesome. So I beat the land destruction deck. I played against Mono Red, which is definitely a thing that you can do. You know, Blood Moons and burn spells and things. It's just been, I don't think I've played the same deck twice. I've had the control matchup once. Just this night, and I had a mono black matchup, right? Roland Chang was playing essentially Suicide Black, right? You get Rituals and Hippies and Sinkholes and Hymns. Like the first half of your mono black spells is great. It's just like
the filler starts to.
You're just like, you want to be like, okay, now my Consults and my Necros and my Drainlight, there aren't any other cards. Like, you kind of run out. You're just playing like Dorky Pump Knights, and I think he had a Greed in his deck, which is kind of amusing.
That's one of the cards I've seen down on the tables a number of times. Greed is not one I've thought about a lot. It used to see a lot of play back in the day when you didn't die till end of phase, and it was lose 2 life instead of pay 2 life. Okay. So you could just run it deep into the negatives and hope to brain geyser out your opponent. Nice. But I haven't seen it in play since then.
Well, he resolved it against me. Didn't work out though. So yeah, it's been fun. The tournament's just certainly been great. It's just, I mean, it's fun both getting inside this like 93, 94 mentality. These are the cards and these are the decks that matter is kind of neat. And just the nostalgia of getting to play with all these old cards is awesome.
It looks like a ton of fun. I wish I would have had a deck together. It certainly brings back a lot of memories. So, I mean, anything in particular you're trying to deal with the sideboard?
My personal mission, I want to put a hole in somebody's head. I have not gotten to put a hole in anybody's head today. That's my biggest disappointment.
I managed to watch Steve Menendian do it, and his opponent had multiple Swords of Plowshares and multiple Fireballs in his hand. And his opponent also had 11 mana out. So it was one of the better Amnesias I've seen.
Wow.
Certainly the best one I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah, no, I'm actually interested to see how it match up against Menendian's deck, because he's got this like blue-red, he's got all the hate, right? He's Energy Flux, Blood Moon, kind of, I mean, it's kind of Delver-ish, right? The Serendibs instead of the Delvers. But like, look how mana efficient I get. I'm just like, I have all the blasts, right? I'm just 4 blasts and 4 blasts for his colors.
But back in the day when that would happen, blasts would just be blasting each other. Like, if he's playing blue-red, I feel like he must have all the blasts also.
I don't think he's got all of them. So I feel like, I don't know, that'd be an interesting matchup. I mean, I think this is the kind of deck where you have game against everybody.
Yes.
I mean, the thing that you can get run over, if they've got, you know, a really fast creature swarm, you know, the Abyss does sometimes take a little while to kind of chunk down their creatures. You've got 4 plows, and maybe there's a balance that gets in the mix, but other than the super fast weenie swarm, like anytime the game goes long, I feel like you've got game. You've got the ability to sort of maneuver things into a favorable situation. So I have definitely been having a lot of fun playing this.
Great. Well, on behalf of Randy Buehler, I'm Bob Maher. Thanks for spending the time and telling us about your deck and old school Magic.
Sure. It's fun.